For my persuasive speech, I'm going to talk about why high school students should have a job during school. So there's many reasons that I'm a credible source for this, mainly because I worked during my high school. I worked at a cafe in DeQueen and I worked on Saturdays. Working during high school doesn't mean that you have to work every night. It just to make money is what it really comes down to, just to make some money. So there are pros and there are cons, and I'm going to talk about both of them today. So the pros, I'm going to have a lot of them, mainly because I do think that a lot of people should work during high school. So one of the pros is you're learning responsibility. You're going to learn how to get up in the morning, be on time for work, what you should and shouldn't do at work, and you're going to learn money responsibility, what you should spend money on and what you shouldn't. Also, when you get that money from working, you're not going to spend it like you would spend somebody else's money. That's another topic I was going to talk about, was the value of money. When you're making money, you're going to understand that it doesn't grow on trees. You're going to want to hold that money back and you're going to want it to grow. And so you're not going to want to spend it on any little thing that you see and you want. You're going to understand how the real world works when you work in the public, which I did. I would go in some days and I would just be so exhausted, but I'd put a smile on my face, and some days it was just really hard because some people were just very rude and hateful. And when I would go into another restaurant later in the week and that same person would have the same attitude I would have, I would understand their struggle. I would understand why they're tired, why they have this bad attitude. And a lot of people would be like, well, I'm not going to tip them well because they were very rude. Well, put yourself in their shoes and understand what they're going through as well. You're going to learn how to have some work ethic. I learned how to manage my school, my friends, and my work all together. And I think that's a misconception for a lot of people. They're like, oh, well, I'm not going to work because I'm not going to be able to have time to do my schoolwork. You will. You just have to make time. I won't have time for my friends. Make time. You will have time. Another big part of it is building your resume. Showing that you worked during high school and you had all these responsibilities shows employers that you are really ready to take on the world. You're ready for a job. You're ready to take that responsibility to the next level. You're going to learn new skills. I learned how to be more communicative with people. I learned to be communicative with my coworkers so that everything worked like a well-oiled machine. And the managing time, it really comes down to if you're well disciplined for it. You're gonna have to make time to go to work, do your responsibilities there, then come home, do your schoolwork, and then if you have extra time, go hang out with your friends. It doesn't have to be stressful. You only make it stressful. Now we'll talk about the cons, and I don't really have a lot because I really don't think it's a very hard thing to have a job in high school. One of them was not having time with friends. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you have to make time. It may be overwhelming sometimes. Sometimes I'd come home and I'd feel very overwhelmed that I wouldn't have time to do my schoolwork. It came down to me putting my schoolwork in front of me, getting it done, and then I had time to do whatever I wanted. I had done some research, and apparently if you work in high school, you are more susceptible to increase your chances of substance abuse. And I can understand this because I did work with some people that had nicotine addictions, and I feel like it's a coping mechanism for some people. It's not like, oh, well, you're gonna become addicted because you worked in high school. It's all about what your perspective of things are. I never became addicted to nicotine or any drugs because my perspective of life is I don't want to do none of that. I don't want to be addicted to anything. So, overall, what I'm trying to say is that having a job is not a bad thing in high school. It really helps you in a lot of ways. Putting on college resumes or job resumes, it just looks good overall to have a job. You'll have spending money to go do whatever you want. But then you also learn the responsibility of having money and what it means to work for it. You have a more healthy concept of money in the real world, and you have sympathy for people who, you get off work, you go to a restaurant, you go to a store, you have sympathy for them people that are working for your convenience. And overall, I just hope that this changes somebody's perspective over working in high school. Thank you.